get started. If you can get back to your seats. We're going to get started with the regular session of the Hemet City Council meeting, the one that should have started at 7. So up first, Sarah, can I get a roll call?
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Lupa?
Here.
Councilmember Wright? Here. Pro Tem Meyer?
Here.
Mayor Percival?
Here. Up next is the invocation by Mary Rydesdale. If you could all please stand for the invocation, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Russ Brown.
Good evening. I'm here representing the Interfaith Council, and in the interest of our delayed meeting, this will be the shortest prayer. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord.
Everyone, please place your hand over your heart. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. All right. Mr. City Attorney, you want to tell us about our non-closed session?
We do have 2 closed session items for tonight. They are both conferences with the city attorney with regard to items of anticipated litigation. There are 2 of those matters because the study session was entirely taken up by the study session item itself. We didn't get to it, and these will have to be held over until the end of the meeting tonight.
Up next, we have presentations. First, we have a presentation by Western Riverside Energy Partnership, Platinum Status, Mr. Anthony Segura. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor. Thank you, City Council members. My name is Anthony Segura. I'm an analyst with WRCOG in the Energy Department, and tonight I'm here to talk about an update from the Western Riverside Energy Partnership, but also congratulating the City of Hemet for their achievement in platinum status for our energy partnership. So a quick background. I'll be going over today a quick background of the partnership, Edison's energy leader model, and the City of Hemet's achievements, but also goals for the future, seeing that they're platinum right now. So the Western Riverside Energy Partnership, also known for short REP, is a partnership between Southern California Edison, the gas company WRCOG, and 14 of its member cities. The goal of the partnership is to promote and implement energy efficiency projects in municipal facilities, but to also promote best practices to the communities, sustainable best practices, energy efficiency, the best tips. So City of Hemet is one of 14 members, and I would like to note that City of Hemet is a great leader in this partnership. When they come to our meetings, they provide a lot of insight. It's a good communication for a delegation for our other members. They get insight from public works staff on, oh, you did this project? I want to do this project. You got this funding? How do I get this funding? You got this award? How do I get this award? It all comes through this partnership. We work together, and I'm happy to have City of Hemet as one of our leaders here. So to get things started, Edison has a leader model, four tiers, starting at value, silver, gold, and level. So with every new city that enrolls into our partnership, they start at value. And in order to go up, cities need to do energy efficiency projects to capture the energy savings. In addition to this, we do community outreach events, but also recommend that cities enroll their facilities into Edison's energy programs as well. But one thing that is more specific and more important in this partnership is those 5 bullet points. So enhanced rebates. As a member of the partnership, the City of Hemet gets an increased incentive for conducting energy projects. At value, the cities achieve 3 extra cents per kilowatt hour saved, silver 6 cents, gold 9 cents, and platinum 12 cents. For a typical energy project, it's 8 cents per kilowatt hour saved. So with the City of Hemet at platinum, they receive 20 cents per kilowatt hour saved per energy project. Another thing is technical assistance. Through the partnership, we have technical assistance vendors that assist with RFP, project analysis, project scope of work to help city staff with all the energy efficiency items that they need. Additionally, strategic plan support. With California's energy efficiency goals, we assist our members through projects such as benchmarking or greenhouse gas emissions analysis to help our cities better their facilities, but also to assist California to meet those energy efficiency goals. One thing is heavily used in our partnership and I like to promote is marketing and outreach. Through the partnership, Edison and the gas company have offered their outreach teams to the cities to come at any community event, any event at City Hall, just through recommendation. They contact me and I assist the cities in getting the outreach teams out here. And lastly, administration. Through the partnership, we're an extension, a resource. We know our energy champions at the cities, they wear multiple hats. So we're here as an extension, Edison Gas, NWRCOG, to assist and help our members achieve their goals. So the reason why we're here, Hemet achieves platinum. Back in 2013, Hemet achieved gold status, and in order to reach platinum, there needed to be a savings of over 700,000 kWh, but also a community event and an enrollment of 50% of its facilities in Edison's demand response program. I'm happy to say as of 2018 in April, the city reached platinum status, and they achieved over 750 kilowatt hours from 2013 to now. This, estimated through the EPA's website, is the energy to power 60 plus households per year. This is a breakdown of projects conducted from 2013 to now. A lot of the projects that the city did was a lot of energy well pumps. So a lot of well pumping projects without the city, but also the city took advantage of one of Edison's own programs called Direct Install, which provides the city with a no-cost audit and installation of identified energy measures. So this was a great opportunity to reach that next status. This snapshot here provides how the rebate process works. And I would like to know, I do apologize for the typical rebate. It should be 8,000, not 5,000. But for a project estimate of 30,000 and an estimated energy savings of 100,000, a typical rebate would be $8,000 for a city not in the partnership. But since Hemet is platinum, they get that 20 cents, so they would get 20,000 back. Sometimes incentives could cover up to 80% of the project depending on the energy savings. Some accomplishments that the city of Hemet has achieved is working with the Partnership for the Energy Savings Assistance Middle Income Direct Install Program. What we did was we came to the city's Harvest Festival back in 2015 and worked with one of Edison's vendors called Synergy to promote income programs for the residents to promote, one, energy efficiency through their homes, but also for those residents that also rent. So this program can be taken advantage for even renters as long as they get approval of their management. Again, the City of Hemet has been heavily active in the annual holiday light exchange since 2015 to 2017, and I would like to note we are scheduled for a 5th annual holiday light exchange, so if City of Hemet wants to join, feel free to let me know. Again, 2016, City of Hemet took advantage of the direct install audit and received roughly a good amount of measures, saving over 52,000 kWh, and that actually propelled them to reach platinum. And lastly, I came out in 2016 to award City of Hemet the Cool Planet Award Champion. This is the highest award that could be received for this model, and the Cool Planet works with Edison and the Climate Registry to promote energy efficiency, but also promoting that best practice of sustainability. Future goals: continue working with the city to identify energy efficiency projects to reduce utility costs and increase energy savings. Continue working with the community and energy outreach programs, but also for commercial businesses. And before I conclude my presentation, this whole project, this whole program cannot be done, this achievement cannot be done without my energy champions, Chris Jensen and Steve Walney. Without their efforts, their input, their guidance, none of this can be done. And again, congratulations to the City of Hemet, and I would like to bring up my colleague Joanna Chang from SCE, my program manager, to provide any remarks that she'd like. But if not, I'd like to conclude with a commemorative photo with City Council to award you the Platinum Award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Want to do that photo now?
Yeah, oh yeah. Music the foot.
This one will be 100 faces on.
Okay, next presentation, Chris Jensen. Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee, Local Government Partnership Program.
Say that 5 times fast.
So, good evening, Council. I will do my best to make this very fast. I'm going to read and speak quickly. Tonight, I have the privilege of providing you with an overview of a presentation that was actually prepared by the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee, more affectionately known as MSRC. The purpose of the presentation is to make Council aware of some one-time funding that came available through the MSRC Local Government Partnership Program for clean air projects, to highlight the air quality challenges faced in our region, and to share that the Council has the authority, as if you did not know, and the ability to allow staff to enter into a contract with MSRC for use of the funds that they've already designated for the City of Hemet. I am good at this. So the MSRC receives funds that are generated via surcharges on motor vehicle registration fees, and they administer various funding programs to ensure that those monies are used to support clean air projects and reduction of air pollution. They work closely with the South Coast Air Quality Management District, but MSRC is not a regulatory agency like South Coast is. There are a number of air quality challenges throughout Southern California, specifically in our region. The South Coast Air Quality Management District is the regulatory agency that enforces the regional clean air requirements and sets deadlines and benchmarks for reductions of air pollutants. The South Coast region has been designated as an extreme non-attainment area for ozone. In simple terms, and I am not technical on all of these little numbers and letters you'll see, but in simple terms, basically that means that the air quality in the area does not meet the national primary or secondary ambient air quality standards. It basically puts us and our residents at a higher risk of health problems, including respiratory ailments. The various clean air agencies, South Coast in particular, mandate air pollution reductions by certain years. And currently, the mandate requires a 45% reduction in air pollutants by 2023, which is just around the corner. So how do they do that? They have, with the California Air Resources Board, as well as MSRC, put together an air quality management plan, and the plan was developed to achieve multiple goals in partnership with these entities that promote reductions in pollutants, but also promote reductions of greenhouse gases and efficiency in energy use. They look at transportation and goods movement, as they've identified that the most effective way to reduce air pollution and to positively impact air quality is to reduce emissions from mobile sources, which are the principal contributor to air pollution. So here comes the good stuff. So in an effort to encourage local agencies to support the air quality management plan, MSRC has implemented the Local Government Partnership Program, and they've set aside specific funding for the City of Hemet, which happens to be $105,580. So while it is a non-competitive grant, we do have a few minor hoops to jump through. And so one of them is you get to acknowledge that you got this wonderful presentation from your Public Works Director. And we also have to identify generally what type of zero or near zero project we are going to perform or install with the money. The categories really are kind of driven towards electric vehicle purchases and or electric vehicle service charging stations essentially installed. The use of the money also requires a commitment of matching funds. The beauty of this for us is that we can use our subvention funds, which are actually another piece of those motor vehicle fees that rather than going to MSRC to be administered to us, come directly to the city. So no general fund costs. What we have done is gone ahead and put together a resolution. It's actually item number 10 on your consent calendar. That is the resolution that does those three things. It acknowledges that you received this presentation. It establishes that we're going to be looking at electric vehicle purchases, and it identifies that we will be using subvention funds as our 50% match. That makes us eligible to apply. Applications are due August 2nd, and gives us our eligibility to have our money. If we don't do this, there's a very good chance they will redistribute any money that kind of hasn't been earmarked to other agencies. And we do have time. We don't have to have this project in place by the end of the year. It can be a multi-year thing as we do our budget planning and whatnot. So with that, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
I'll start,
Okay.
because I have some.
I know you love this stuff.
You mentioned in that part of this is for transportation of goods movement.
So let me
How to
clarify.
Is it part of how to reduce that movement?
It is part of how to make not to reduce the movement itself, but to reduce the impacts of the emissions from the vehicles that are performing those jobs.
Vehicles have to travel more, they produce more pollutants,
Correct.
greenhouse gas, exhaust,
So you're
et
shortening
cetera,
trips.
et cetera.
Right.
So, and it can be used for near zero emissions projects
Correct.
related to, is it strictly related to zero emission vehicles, or can it be used to help reduce that transportation movement as part of a project?
They're pretty specific about they want to see a concrete project. They want to see the install of a charging station, an EV charging station, or they want to see a vehicle. In terms of programs and, different policies that might impact that, that's not something that is supported with this specific funding. There might be other funding out there.
Because here's where I'm going with that, is because the city of Hemet is looking at a project that will actually increase the movement of goods because it will force vehicles to travel farther, and that project is the race curb median going down Florida Avenue. I just wanted to put that out there. So this is a good thing. How do we reduce? But yet we have another state agency that wants to do just the opposite and cause more miles driven. Just wanted to put that out there.
Messenger.
Not going after you at all, just making sure that it got recorded
We got
and
it.
it's on the record. Any other questions for Steve?
I'll add to that comment, and the governor's office has been reminded of that he has two of his little pet things, clean air and vehicle miles traveled, and if Caltrans forces this center median down Florida Avenue, it's going to increase vehicle miles traveled, and it is going to highly pollute our air more than it is so far. I think we did good. So on that, do you happen to know how fully utilized we have 2 charging stations at City Hall?
We do.
I see cars parked there all the time. Some of them are plugged in, some of them are just parked. Do we have a tracking on how much they're utilized?
We have the ability to. I have not pulled those reports. I do know that.
Go up there and check that thing every day.
Okay. I'm going to, where's my list?
Chris can hobble in
We
on
can,
on
yes.
now walking fast.
I do know that we have regulars, that we've had regulars since they came in that were knocking on the door months before they were ever installed. So I do hope that people who are not in electric vehicles are not parking in those spots, but
I don't check them out that fully, but I have seen them hooked up there every so often, which is really good. And if they are being utilized fully, then I know that part of the infrastructure is something that all cities are lacking on, but that we need to do. Now, my next question really doesn't, since we're talking South Coast air quality and clean air and mobile contributors, I don't think I'm too far out of line, that the NAIOP, Inland Empire, which is the Division of Developers, are now actively involved with RCTC in doing a fees study for implementation of air pollution and other things that will come from the logistics center, the World Logistics Center that is proposed to go up on Highway 60. And I think this is an appropriate time that the city of Hemet weighs in that our air is going to be very, very negatively impacted by the construction up there. And they're saying 56,000 increased vehicles every day, with at least 16,000 of them being trucks, and it's not going to impact our air quality. I'd like to know what they're smoking. It's probably pot. But, so, got that out there. Other than that, I think this is fantastic. Go for your electric vehicles and charge those babies up.
Chris, how extensive are the compliance measures that you're required for this?
This is the simplest
Oh, good.
thing I've ever seen in my life, quite frankly. You know, we've had a number of grants through MSRC in the past, and they've always been very helpful. And compliance in terms of reporting is really simple. There are some requirements in terms of how long the vehicles have to be in service or how long the equipment has to be in service. But in terms of reporting, they don't even have an application format. At this point, they're just like, send us something that tells us what you think you might want to do. We'll call you. But it's really, really easy.
Makes it real cost effective.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you.
Next, the consent calendar. Typically, we keep taking on one vote to pass it or reject it all. Sarah, do you have anybody that wants to go on it?
No.
Any staff want to go on it? Oh, council? Council want to go on it?
Oh my goodness, I have to pull 11 and 12.
Is there a motion to pass 6 through 10?
So moved.
Okay, I'm questioning the Gibble Park well. We had a bunch of options, and I don't know how we would pick Gibble Park. But.
So we had hydrological, I always mess this up. We had a professional engineer who deals with hydrology come out and identify sites. We have challenges in terms of bedrock and just what we're built on here. We also have challenges in terms of where we have available infrastructure to connect into. So the sites that were identified initially, there was one out by Fire Station 5, so way out on the east end of town where we don't have anything even remotely close in terms of our system. There was another spot that was identified near the well that is at the front of Seven Hills on Kirby and Stetson. That is one of the wells that we have water quality challenges with now, so we didn't want to put another hole in the ground right next to it. The other spot that was given to us was actually right over here at the corner of Latham and State Street, where again, we don't have large enough main line in the road to be able to handle taking water on from another facility. So the final was Gibble Park. We looked at it for a couple of reasons. We have available infrastructure right there. We own the property, and we have had good quality, good volume well in that area that other agencies have, or I know that there's a mobile home park that's not too far away that has really good output. So I think the farther kind of that way that we get, again, for the staff report, the 2 wells that we're running are in this area. It is not a cheap project to have to put a hole in the ground, line that hole, pump the water, see what kind of volume you're going to get, do the quality. So we really went with what we thought made the most sense in terms of getting that in a right spot, that the best we can guess, right, that we would get good volume and good quality water.
Now, what kind of noise and stuff does that put out?
So the well drilling itself, when they do this, they actually,
Like, just when it's functioning, I'm not worried about.
it will have a well house around it. So it'll be the same thing that you would see like at Mary Henley Park. So if you go to Mary Henley and you think our well noise is out of control, let me know, because I don't hear it. So those measures go into place. The process of getting the well drilled, and then once we determine what the water quality and the water volume is, and then going back in and really getting it equipped and get everything else done, that can get a little noisy. That's not part of this process. We want to find out what's underground first, but when we do, did I lose my person? There he is. Ron Prose, my water superintendent, is here, so I'm going to look at him to make sure I'm not telling lies. Okay. When they do the drilling, they do set up sound guards, tents around the area, correct, for the most part? If needed, okay. So this area, and you know what, would you like me to pull the photo up? I'm sorry.
Just so we can see where it's at in relation to the park.
So is there a reason this isn't coming up for me?
If not, never mind. Where is it that you're looking
So-
at in the park?
So there's a lot of ideas for the park right now, and what we took a look at was on the north side of the park, so on the Devonshire side of the park, near the lawn bowling area, kind of right to the east of the parking lot there is where we have kind of the pad. There should have been a photo in your, right. And I believe that the area that's mapped out in red does represent the footprint of the ultimate well site, correct? So that is the area that you're talking about. It's not overwhelming to that area of the park by any means. And again, it will have a well house, a building on it, so.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was just, as long as it fits in with our general plan of every single, anything developed in that area, et cetera, so.
Chris, what's the time frame on this?
So my understanding is that once awarded, that they have 90 days. We anticipate the drilling, the initial drilling will be 2 to 3 weeks. And then they'll be able to start kind of doing the zone testing, if you will, for what kind of volume and quality of water they're getting from the.
Is this project any part of the well program that you submitted for funding on?
This particular test hole, no. We had 3 test holes that were approved through the CIP. This one was funded. This one has actually been funded for about 3 years.
What took you so long?
Well, everything was breaking. So when something breaks, that's what we focus on is survival, right? I know. So we do have the funding for this. Future well sites, we do need to have that funding for, and I would have to check with Sudi, but I do believe that was part of one of the things that was included in our water distribution bubble for those grant funds that we're going after.
So, and we did talk, of course, I talked to Chris about this because of the skate park being thought of, Gibble Park being thought of for that project. And really, it won't impact what we think will develop there. And also, it's probably the most cost-effective because of the location of it and being close to the infrastructure we already have. So as much as I really would rather it not be there, I have to look at the site of what's best for the city and how more cost effective it is to put it there versus anywhere else in other projects proposed, or other areas proposed.
And I think that as we kind of looked at this, as well as the potential for the skate park, the well site and where we're talking about the skate park still preserves a ton of open area for those soccer practices, as well as our softball diamond. So, do you, the actual square footage, Ron?
Is it going to be about the size of the one at Mary Henley?
It's actually going to be slightly bigger. It's going to, if you're familiar with well 2, where that is at, which is off of, help me, which is off of Kimball and Gilbert. It's kind of right behind the shop there. That is going to be more the size of it, which is, Ron, what is that?
40 by 80.
40 by 80.
That's big. I guess I didn't realize that part of it.
Well, you have to remember, we need to be able to
Yeah, I know.
pull equipment onto and next to the well site, so.
And I think being adjacent to the lawn bowling where it's, nothing really happens right there.
Right, and it would be a good time to replace the lawn bowling sign and
Oh,
do
you think?
something. We could make it maybe a little more modern.
Oh, God, okay. We'll have a ribbon cutting for that one.
I just have a question.
Sure.
The building by the lawn bowling that they were using for storage or whatever, is that still there? We never got
The,
it.
what we refer to as the radio station building, it is still there, it has not been demoed. We have tested it for any hazard materials, nobody's in there, no storage is in there, but we've never had the funding for the demolition. It hasn't been a priority.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
When we do projects like this, do we notice a radius of residents around the area about the project coming up and the duration that they might expect noise and all that?
Absolutely. If you recall, sometime early or mid last year, we actually had to re-drill well 10, which is right in the middle of a development that is gated. So I think it's 2 lots in an area of small homes, and absolutely, everybody gets notification. Our contractors and our staff have been really good. I think we got 1 complaint from that, and we're talking drilling a hole next door to your house, to your house. So in this area, it's really open. You've got a nursery, a plant nursery across the street. You do have some residential homes kind of buffered by that lawn bowling facility, and then some apartments. You don't really have any residential tucked in right next to it, so.
Based on all of the other alternatives, it's pretty clear to me that this is the best option, and it's a very accessible location.
And hopefully we can make it look nice enough for all those apartments across the street.
We
Yeah. Linda's going to paint daisies on the walls. Ivy, whatever.
Right.
Okay. All right, I move to approve that then. I just needed to know. Thank you.
Second.
You vote.
Thank you, council.
Okay. Up next, item 12. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members.
So I have a question. This was passed by the council before you got here.
That's right.
And I talked to Deanna earlier about this. There's been nobody has paid this in lieu fee to date, if I'm not mistaken. There's some changes that need to be made to this ordinance. Did you have an opportunity to sit down and talk to Edison?
We have invited them for a meeting. Actually, that meeting is going to happen on July 24th.
So and after that meeting, you should be able to come back with some ordinance changes, most likely?
We definitely hope so, yes. And members of the Public Works and Planning are also going to be joining us and assisting us in having a comprehensive meeting and to look at all the aspects of the ordinance that we currently have in place. And at the same time, we also want to find out from Southern California Edison if they have any plans, and then how much money do we have with them. There are a couple of options for a lower cost funding of undergrounding that I would like to explore with them as well. So there's several topics. We've already discussed those topics with Southern California Edison, and that is one of the reasons why this meeting was postponed, because I'm hoping that they will come prepared to respond to those questions.
And then with regards to this particular project, this is right next to a previous project that we had waived the...
Exactly, so right across.
Any other questions?
No, I was just wondering about that. How many of these have we waived? Do you know? Have we waived them all since? This is the second one we're waiving and no one's paid?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
that's the case.
just my point of having this. If we're not going to enforce it, then it's funny.
You're going to look at to see what is it that could make this practical and doable for the city.
So, perfect. I just needed to know that. Thank you. And I move to approve this.
I'll second. Please vote. Okay, that passes. Up next, communication from the public. Sarah, do you have any? I think we're all okay. Nobody wants to talk to us? Okay, good. Moving on. Next, our public hearing item, zoning ordinance amendment number 18003, single-family residential zones. Ms. Ileana.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This proposed zoning ordinance amendment, what it does is create a new zoning district in our single-family residential zones. It's called the R15, which would mean it would be minimum lot size of 5,000 square feet. Right now in the city's what we call conventional zoning classifications, the smallest lot size is 6,000 square feet. However, there are many 5,000 square foot lots within the city. They're just in specific plans or planned community developments. So the reason this came about is that we had a development proposed over on Elk Street, south of Stetson, and the configuration worked the best in terms of doing 5,000 square foot lots, but how to get there from here, and probably the easiest and simplest in terms of a work study before that planning commission was to just establish a new zone district. Now, in the city's design guidelines and now in our ordinance for the single-family residential, if you have anything smaller than 7,200 square feet, there has to be compensating open space. So both for the 6,000 square foot and the 5,000, there's 100 square foot per unit that is then compensating the rear yard areas that you might be losing that would be in a centralized open space area, and usually that's maintained by an HOA. So there's still some recreational aspects to offset that. The benefit of doing the 5,000 in some areas, and it would be case by case as to where that 5,000 square foot lot zone would be applied as that would come forward, is that it does give some more design flexibility, and also for those, the trend really in the industry right now is to go towards smaller lots. We're fortunate in Hemet that we have a wide range of single-family lots. We have a lot of single-family lots of all different lot sizes, but there is a lot of the builders right now that are active are looking for the smaller lots because of less maintenance and the water conservation issues. In terms of the changes themselves, they're in your ordinance. The real difference from the 6,000, other than the minimum lot size of 5,000, is a little bit smaller width requirement, but most all the other kind of setbacks and those kinds of things are still comparable with the R16. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
One of the questions that I have, do we have any projects that are waiting to go for this ordinance to go through?
Yes, Mr. Blaine Warmer, there's a letter in the packet supporting this. He has two tentative maps in that Elk Street area waiting for this to be able to submit for those.
Has he made mention of when they're looking to get started on this project?
They're actively marketing all of those properties. If you recall, a couple of years ago, they have 2 subdivisions there for the 6,000s. And then, so the owner is not a developer, but they are marketing the sites. And they've had a lot of developer interest in this lot size.
Any questions?
Deanna, when you have a 5,000 square foot lot, is there a limitation of the unit size then going on that lot?
Yes, in a couple of different ways. So most of what is governing how much lot size is what's called coverage requirements. So there's a certain percentage. This is in here. So our coverage requirement is for 1 story it's 50%. For 2 stories it's 45% of the lot area. So you still have a 20-foot, front yard, 10-foot rear yard area minimum.
Do you know what the Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in my experience, when you have a minimum lot size, generally your average lot size is much larger. Because as you design the subdivision and the cul-de-sac, so you may have a minimum of 5, but it actually, a lot of them get into over the 6s and 7s, just as you're laying out the subdivision.
Could you tell me what they proposed the square footage of the houses to be in that development?
I don't know we haven't seen any product for that yet, but the zoning ordinance does require a minimum of 1,200 square feet.
On the compensating open space, is there any requirement that they establish an HOA to maintain that?
Yes.
So that would, when the project comes forward, that would be
yes.
a component.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so there's not a likely scenario where they would opt out of doing an HOA and that open space becomes a weed patch.
No, because when the subdivision's approved, which is creating the lot size, it also has to create the compensating open space. And the conditions of approval of that map is the formation of an HOA for the ongoing maintenance.
Thank you.
The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval, and there were no members of the public that have spoken opposition at that hearing, nor have we received any communication.
Any other comments or questions? This is a public hearing item, Sarah, do you have anybody that wishes? Sorry.
We just make sure that the public hearing was opened. We asked for comments. Nobody wanted to comment. Close the public hearing.
We did all that. In one, well, I did open it and ask.
I'm trying to write those steps in here.
Well, I asked if anybody commented, and I did say it was a public hearing. So technically, I didn't say. Okay. All right.
So I'm sorry, was that Councilmember Wright first?
Wright, Meyer.
Thank you.
Okay. And then a unanimous vote.
And I need to read that ordinance?
Yes.
Ordinance Bill Number 18-029, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hemet amending Article 11, Single-Family Residential Zones of Chapter 90 Zoning of the Hemet Municipal Code to establish a single-family residential zone with a minimum lot size of 5,000 square foot.
All right. Thank you. Up next, council reports. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. Water Master Board meeting is pending. I don't have the date right at my fingertips right now, but under disaster planning, I have a couple of information points that I got from our emergency services coordinator. On July 18th, Metropolitan Water District is holding an information discussion meeting at 9 a.m. at the upstairs portion of the library. They're going to be discussing their emergency plans and flood inundation maps from Diamond Valley Lake. So I plan to be attending that, and if any of you would like to go there, should be very informative, and updating what their inundation plans are. And then also under information for the public, we have a couple of CERT training courses pending, Community Emergency Response Team. I have some flyers like this that I left out on the table in the lobby, and so we have 2 dates, August 24th, 25th, 26th, and then the next one is November 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's a 20-hour training class, and it's free to members of the public, so I urge people to avail themselves of this training opportunity. I've taken the training class, and I found it worthwhile. And
do they ever have them in the evening?
well, this one is in the evening on Friday.
Oh.
It's Friday 5:30 to 9, but it's followed by all day Saturday and Sunday. The August 24th, 25th, and 26th. And the next one is November 16th, 17th, and 18th. So the Friday evening would be 5:30 to 9, and then Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 5. And you get an hour. You get an hour for lunch. Here, take that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Very quickly, RCTC is tomorrow. One of the items, actually 2 of the items I believe that will be going for approval are both connected to the lawsuit settlement for the Mid-County Parkway. One being the alignment of a portion of Mid-County to allow for some more open space for habitat and wetland waters, and the other for the beginning of the Placentia interchange on the 215. So they're going to be starting with the tough end and not the easy end. It's like, why don't you start the Mid-County out here where there's, anyway. So that's going on tomorrow. Ramona Bowl, Thursday night under the stars. Concert this Thursday is Branson on the Road. And on July 19th, it is Beatlemania, preceded by a barbecue dinner that is being put on by Hemet Sunset Rotary to pay for the Americana Trail that was reconfigured this last year. The library is still in full swing with summer reading program. And if you go on to the actually it's the city website, it has all sorts of things like Library Rocks and all of these things you can download and read and access, and one of them is the old historical Hemet News from 1899 to 1949, and then the Riverside Press Enterprise from 1992 to today, plus a few other things. You can even practice your taking driving tests online if you're going to go get your driver's license, and many, many more things. The other thing, the League of Cities are every other month general meeting. This month in July will actually be on July 23rd, and it will be at the Diamond Stadium in Lake Elsinore for $20. You can have a free, well, you can for $20 you can have unlimited barbecue and a ball game. The general meeting starts at 5. I think city manager starts at 3:30 or 4, something like that, and then the general meeting or the ball game starts at 6. So it's dress in whatever team. I'll wear my Steelers jersey because I don't have any favorite baseball players. So it's a little football, and that's it. That's all I got.
Briefly, do we meet before, since we've had the Chamber Awards Gala? No. So I think all of us were there at the Chamber Awards Gala, which is a really, again, a very nice event at Four Seasons. There was for Western Riverside Council of Governments, we just had a brief call-in meeting on July 2nd because of the holiday. No presentations, nothing really to speak of, to report. There was no meeting for SCAG, and Homeless Task Force is the fourth Monday of the month, and Skate Plaza Task Force is the third Wednesday, so we haven't reached those yet.
All right. I attended the Yorkshire House, Yorkshire Village open house. They've redone it, and they dedicated a building to one of the previous owners. There's a new owner there, and so that was pretty neat. That is not in the city, but they service many residents of our city. And let's see, there was a lot of us at the Saboba Golf Course grand opening. All of us, were you there? Most of us were there, and so that was neat to see them making progress over there at Saboba. Their resort is looking great, and they had their kickoff and grand opening for their new golf course. And then there was also the Hemet DMV anniversary. It's like their 29th anniversary and employee appreciation. So that was, I swung by there, and that was pretty good. And great to see. I pulled up, and the line is, you know, how that line is around the building, and I'm like, when I went inside, thinking, wow, do I have to wait in this line to figure out where this party is? I didn't make an appointment first. Anyways, it was around the back, so now we know. But it was great to see the office manager put it on. There were some people from out of the area that were visiting some of his higher-ups, and so that was good to see. And Perry, he's the one, my son even played baseball with him, so, you know, to be connecting with people. So, all right, and I'm sure there's many other things, but those were some highlights.
Okay, so we were at the Saboba golf kickoff. Russ and I actually got to play golf that morning with Steve, so that was fun. Scott. After that, the RCA meeting was canceled for lack of a quorum because it was on the 2nd. 4th of July, I went out to Valleywide. I was somewhere else in the morning. I forget now. The parade, yeah. Oh, the San Jacinto Parade. Yeah, so the San Jacinto Parade, I had a great spot at the end of the parade. There was a lot of vendors out there, some local people, some good food. It was a good turnout. Then in the afternoon, I was over at Valleywide for the fireworks, and there was a lot of people there at the park. It was good to see. So one of the comments that I made to Dean was that this is nice to see out here because this is a sense of community that this valley has with all the families that were out there, and it was a good time. The fireworks were great. When they did the finale, there was kind of a little pause, and then they launched off the last little bit that didn't get launched with the finale, but other than that, it was great. And I think one of the neighbors were competing with the fireworks because their fireworks a block over were just as big as the fireworks in Valleywide. So that was that. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Ad hoc. Master annexation, nothing. Florida Avenue. Did you get anything there? We did get notice that they are starting to do the project from the 215 to the city limits. So that project will be moving forward. We got noticed on that. CDBG.
So we haven't set a time. There's really not a big deadline. I mean, it's kind of down the road of the excess CDBG money. So we'll probably meet in the next couple of weeks.
City manager reports. Future agenda items.
Yes. When we set up the budget committee, I would like to have discussion at that time about setting up a public safety committee and a public works committee and whatever else. Because I would assume budget will be state budget finance. And just by the side, I want to be on Public Works because we've got a lot of things coming up with some churches and Rotary that we want to do downtown, so I want to be highly influential. And Chris is already gone, so she didn't hear that.
Okay, any others? adjourn the regular meeting and go right back into the work study. Work study. Provide direction for staff.
We have that too.
Let's wrap this up first.
This is the version of your
The work study to provide direction for staff on where do we want to go with.
You want to ask questions first? I've got questions that I need to ask. Fire away. Okay. I talked with Hitta just briefly afterwards and had asked her how Bellflower was doing, because I believe they did the study for Bellflower also on the feasibility finance study. And she had some real good comments on what they had done and what they had run into after the fact, but also things that could get put into a resolution afterwards, because they don't have the available space, number one, that we have out here. But if staff could talk with her some more and get some of what Bellflower ran into in difficulties, but also what lessons learned, but also where to go. But a couple questions, and it tells you how much I don't know about the marijuana and cannabis industry. The state has a 25% add-on tax for total revenues. Is that what the state has on?
I don't know the exact amount of the tax.
But it's a big one.
It's large.
Large, yeah. Okay, my next question, is there sales tax on it?
No, there's not sales tax on the sale of cannabis. It's a special excise tax.
But it's considered a special. So if we did this,
Yes. You don't get a double dip. You don't get sales
come on, I
tax
want
and...
sales tax, Measure U, and another one.
Yeah.
Not going to get it.
You have to pass your own tax and all.
Okay, then it would be independent of, and other cities are,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
At least every city we've reviewed that had medical, or that had any kind of cannabis regulation also had a companion tax. And I think HEDA's report reviewed a number of them that we looked at.
Yes, yes. And that tax rate would be on dispensing only. So if a medical marijuana is considered a drug, I don't know, I don't buy a lot of pharmaceuticals, so do we pay tax on drugs?
Sales tax?
Yep.
To be honest, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't buy.
It is, think of it like
I don't buy
food.
prescription drugs.
Like food, you don't pay sales tax on a number of different food items unless there's some preparation. Cannabis is subject to the state excise tax, and it would be subject to your local excise tax.
Okay, and that would be either medical